All right. Happy Father's Day. That's for Jordan. Jordan. Turned out good. I wanted to do a quick update on the, I got the cone on the kicker. I don't have these in a 2.5 inch, so I had to put in a bunch of junk in there, like yarn and a bunch of other shit to make it work. And then what I'm going to do is put a inner cap in like that, and then finish it off with a kicker cap, which I have around here somewhere. There we go. So, and then it should, I got to do the spit test on the back to see if it touches, and if it does, I'll put some glue on the back of that so it stays down. But getting ready to finish these. This is the GL Audio W612. I ended up putting the terminal on there, but they were going to stick out too far, so I bent it down and then I bent these down. So, and it ends up having a really nice arc on here, and ends up turning out really nice. And then you gather up these. I cut them all the way down just because I don't ever want to cut the leads off, which I've done on some sundown ones, because for some reason Jacob doesn't, you know, whatever, he doesn't tell his guys to go all the way down. They come off the top, and then their cap is so bubbly that, you know, and a lot of times they didn't use an inner cap, so, but I do. And so I just got to neck these out. I went ahead, these are rubber, and I just used the grinder real quick on them. It's you can't real press hard because it's real compliant, and so it just kind of grazes it, but it preps that rubber so that it'll bond to the CA and bond to the aluminum. So, but these turned out really nice. They're gonna look really nice. So even though it looks kind of weird and I don't want to say fruity, but just, you know, definitely not something you've seen before. So, because it's very unique. It's custom. It's custom made. I think there was another one. Oh, here's Chubbs. Got Chubbs' prepped. There's Chubbs. So he got the 5-stack. He's got the last 180 millimeter carbon fiber going on there, and then Carlton and his little buddies, and he's getting the carbon fiber as well. This is the 6 series, but it's a 2.5 inch neck that Lord of Bass has right now. I have mixed feelings. I don't want to tell you about them because then you'll buy them and then I'll run out. But good news is I'm talking to Larry right now about importing the big, it's this roll, but it has like the ribbed things on it. You guys really love it. I think Dee Dee's been using it for years, and then Lanzar first started using it back in, I think, the 90s or whatever. So it's making it come back, and they made tooling on it on a bigger version where it's a big roll, and that's the one I want to import, and I want to get it in like 8 colors. Let's see, what is it? 200 pieces in black stitch, double black stitch, 200 pieces in double red stitch, and then let's see, double stitch, blue, green, orange, yellow, white, and pink. Yeah, that's right. That's 8. And then maybe an extra 100 with no stitch. So, and then we want to actually sell them on Amazon because there's nobody selling this stuff on Amazon. And so it's just, we have to get them in, box them up, and then send them back to Amazon. And hopefully there's enough margin on there to do it. But I told Larry, I was like, dude, I'll just come in like 2-3 days a week and fucking we'll pack them and ship them, just like old days when I worked at Lightning Audio for him. So, but oh, so okay, so I had I gotta get the guy's name because I actually want to file a police report. So just, it's one of those things that I learned as a skateboarder. Like when someone asks you to leave, you leave. That's trespassing if you don't. And I got harassed by the cops a lot here in Mesa. So skateboarding, there was no skate parks at the time and things like that. So, but there was a guy, I don't even remember his name, but it was Father's Day, and he came in and he was like wanting his subs. And I was like, and I have to explain to people, like, this is a custom thing. Like, I have to take my time on it, and also I don't know if it's going to be done. Like, I can get all the way to the done, it's finished, I test it, and then I hear rubbing. You know what I mean? And that is disheartening for me, for sure. But then, you know, the guy's like, I've been waiting and patient. And I'm like, dude, you wanted fucking custom and I'm selling it for half price? Like, what the fuck? Like, chill the fuck out. It's about having expectations. So this guy had some pretty high expectations. And he thought it would be good in his benefit that if he was able to come over with his kids and pick up the woofers on Father's Day. And I said, they're not ready. And he came over anyway. And he's like, are they done? I was like, no, they're not done. And he's like, well, when will they be done? And he like wanted a deadline. And, you know, I don't give deadlines on subwoofers because it's like, I don't know. And so I said, well, they'll be done when they're ready. Like, and I'm not saying it to say fuck off. I'm just a little annoyed because people don't listen to the words that I say. And they get demanding and they want a deadline. And I'm like, I can't give you a deadline. I don't predict the future. You know, sometimes, whatever, like, especially like when Sherry we had to take her to the hospital. I took her to the hospital for COVID, you know, like she could not breathe. And that fucked up the next, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever it was. And again, people were not patient with me. And it's like, do you not understand? Like when you come over, like it's just fucking me and like the dogs, and the dogs do not help. So, but I want to show you this video, but so, okay, so when I'm making subwoofers, I have lots of time. Because I can do it in my sleep, right? So I don't have to think really a lot about, especially work that I've done before. Like a lot of this stuff is real repetitive. And so I'll listen to music and I daydream, which I loved doing in high school. It was fucking the best class I ever had. And so I love daydreaming, and some of the things that I do is I fantasize, and it's rarely about sexual stuff. But this was about acting. So there was a moment, this was a few years ago, when I was doing stand-up, and I was, you know, pondering, you know, a lot of people enter through the door of acting, and then they work their way up. And I have another story for you about that, which is why I don't want to start as an actor, but I'll tell you that another time. But so as an actor, right, which is well, there's like, I guess there's like staff, right? Like stagehands, stuff like that. And then there's actor. And actors tend to have a bit of an ego. They don't have to, but they tend to. And so I decided to kind of fantasize with that. And some of the things that I fantasize about is like, what if, you know, whatever, like, who was the girl that the Hope Floats? That little girl. She gives that brutal performance in Hope Floats. The one with the little glasses, what's her, sunshine girl. Anyways, in an interview, she talked about when she did that scene where she's crying her eyes out, she was thinking about the movie Titanic and how the guys were playing the violins as the ship went down. And so for her, that was really sad. And that's called method acting. You know, you just think of something that is tearful, and then you use that in that moment to create a reality or the appearance of something. And that's acting, right? So this guy on Father's Day, he comes in and he was very pushy with me, and I tried to be patient with him. Again, he was a middle-aged black guy with a Dodge. I don't know what it is with black guys and Dodges. I don't understand that. But if somebody could explain that to me, I would love to understand. But I don't. So, but anyways, middle-aged guy with kids, black guy, and I think it's macho. I think it's really the macho part, because he was real pushy with me, and I was real patient with him. And then I finally was like, okay, I've had enough. I got to go get my phone. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to record. And that's the recording that you see. And I have to go in and edit it to add a preface. And it's basically a repeat of what I'm telling you now, but I'll make it a shorter one. But in that video, I am acting. Now there's another video that is very similar, another middle-aged black guy. This one had a do-rag. I'm not acting, and I'm very pumped up, and I'm like mad at the cops for some reason. I don't know why, but it's another guy, again, macho black guy coming over here doing stuff he knows he's not supposed to do. So, but anyway, Father's Day guy. I'll preface the video. I'll do a little bit of editing, and I just wanted to share that with you. That again, as far as Father's Day goes, as far as my father goes, I actually want to post a video of a audio recording that I made the last time I talked to my father. And at the time, I was going through a lot of recovery. I think I was staffing, I think I was still staffing for Omega Vector. And one of the things that I learned through the ancient teachings was that you're not really an adult until your parents die. And it can be metaphorical, right? It doesn't have to be literal. But in the most urgent sense, it is better for you to grow into an adult if you basically can either burn that bridge or they die, right? So, and what it is so that you can't ever go home. You can't ever run home to daddy or mommy or whatever, which happens all the time for these people now. So I was very committed to the work, and I was very committed to recovery, and I wanted to find out with my life, because if you listen to a lot of self-help stuff, typically most people just don't do the things that they listen to in the self-help stuff. And I remember listening to Tony Robbins. I bought the fucking $200 tape. It was like fucking 30 tapes in 1994. Like, I wanted to be successful. I had no idea how or what or why, and I was going through a lot of stuff, but I bought them. They were like $200, and I learned I still use a lot of the stuff that's on there, but it takes like 10, and in this case 20, almost 30 years before this stuff starts working. And again, it's not about being patient. It's just about growing as a human being and growing as an adult in order to take on those kinds of responsibilities. Because really, that's really the cure-all for a lot of problems in your life, is to be responsible and to be an adult. And most people are not. And that's really why we have a lot of problems in our society. So back to this guy. And so basically what happened was I decided to bend reality for him. And I am acting when I'm screaming at this guy. And it's a whole thing, basically, like, I don't want to ruin it for you, but he brought his kids, and I'm like, you know, nobody told you to bring your kids. Like, why is that my fucking problem? Of course, I'm saying this at the top of my lungs, and I'm just like, some people would say it's manic, as all hell. I can say that's the source of it, but literally I was in control the whole time. And I really just wanted to flex my acting muscles to see what I could do. And so if, you know, yeah, I don't want to get into the acting thing again, but at the time I just really wanted to experiment. And really that's a lot of these videos, that's what I'm doing. I'm experimenting not only with myself, but with, well, that sounded pretty fun or kinky. Like that time I stayed home and somebody told me about putting a knotted rag up your butthole and then pulling it out when you come so you can shoot farther. And then like I took a carrot, and then for some reason I peeled the carrot because I didn't want a dirty carrot in my butthole, which is ironic, but I like lit candles because nobody was home, and I was probably 15, maybe 16, and I stuck a carrot up my butt, and it wasn't big, it was probably like that, and like some Ronnie Mund fucking shit. And guess what? It didn't feel good. So like I left flat spots on the carrot, and so they kind of got in there. I also didn't really use lube. I did, you know, I'm not gay, so I didn't quite know. I probably should have talked to a gay guy, but this was the early 90s, so gay people were still in the closet. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, wait, that's a gay skew. But anyways, experimentation. So I like to experiment, and it's great that I'm even just showing this. So I just want to see what happens. Like, you know, like, is it terrible? No. Is it weird? Yes. Is it different? Is it ugly? Sure. But you know, really it's about an experimentation. And for me, in my life, I want to find out what I can really do. And I want to find out what I'm really capable of. And most of my, I don't want to say loss, but most of my failures in my life have been because I was not committed. And so sometimes, and in this case, it was like a, you know, an acting dream where I'm like, ooh, I get to, you know, play this character, and it's usually a bad guy. One of the things that happened to me as a kid is I grew up watching Andy Griffith's show, and you know, that's the, you know, it's a lovely show. It's a very warm-hearted, all that kind of stuff. Well, in the 80s, Andy Griffith played a really mean judge, and it like scared the shit out of me. So there's something wonderful about when somebody you like or somebody that seems nice plays a bad guy, whether it's real life or acting. And so like, you know, when Jim Carrey didn't play a funny guy, he played a dramatic character. and he's very, very good at it. So, but you know, when does Jim get to be play a dramatic character? You know, you don't get to see that side of it. Same with Robin Williams. Robin Williams was very good in a lot of his movies as dramatic characters. You know, everybody loves him as a funny guy, but he's actually a very good actor on both spectrums. And so I was experimenting with this, and that's what I wanted to sort of preface this about. Again, I don't want to post the video like I did the other ones where I don't put a preface in it, because then all the black dudes that watch my videos get mad at me and they're like, "You're a racist." I'm like, all I'm doing is yelling at a black guy because he's being an asshole, not because he's black. You fucking racist motherfuckers. So, but you know, whatever. I'm trying to not just throw mud at the wall and see what sticks. So I want to sort of educate you and step you guys through some of the stuff that I do. If you notice, look around. I mean, this is not normal behavior. Is it abnormal? You know what I mean? Is it like a hoarder? No, this is not hoarder behavior. It's hoarder tendencies, sure. But if somebody comes in with money, like for the most part, as long as they're not treating me like a dirty whore, then I will sell them just about anything. So, and everything is for sale. I'm not allergic to that. There's a guy, I forget what his name is, like BJ or RJ or something like that. And he was like bad-mouthing me because I had said, some guy wanted to make an 8 out of this. And he's like, "Why didn't you take the money I was giving you?" I'm like, "Because you're a douchebag, and I didn't want to call you a douchebag. I was trying to be nice to you." And he already had like 2 ZV5 10s, and he was wanting me to build him something bigger than ZV5 10s. I'm like, you're getting into the ridiculous arena. So all I did was, I was backlogged. I was like, no, like, I'm just going to back away from this. And so I said, "What's wrong with what you have?" And you know, it's like one of the, like, it's like a guy that shows up in a fucking Ferrari, and then he's like, "I heard you make custom cars. Make me something better." And I'm like, and I don't want to get into it because, first of all, he's a douchebag for buying a Ferrari in the first place. So yes, you're a douchebag for buying a ZV5 motor and then making it a 10, right? Or having Jacob build it for you. Those should not be 10s, right? You should go with a smaller motor because it doesn't need to be that big. But so, and again, I didn't want to embarrass him. And then he starts calling me out and trolling me on the fucking comment section. So I'm like, all right, motherfucker. So I blasted him. And that's what I like to do to douchebags, because I've had many people come in here and, you know, they're just like, "I'm giving you money." And that goes back to the guy with the high expectations. The worst part about that guy, Father's Day guy, the worst part about that guy is that he didn't even, I don't even think he gave me money. I got to go look through the texts. I turned him on to an idea that there was another guy, Fernie, that had worked here and earned up a bunch of credit. And I liked the students to buy, sell, and trade with one another their credits, because at the time Fernie didn't need anything, but he had like fucking $1,400 in credit. And so I told this guy, I said, "Go talk to Fernie and see if Fernie needs any cash." I was trying to help Fernie. I was probably, you know, short on rent, but I'm like, he was trying to get some other discount. And I hate giving discounts to people because it's like, do your fucking math. I'm already cheap. Like, if you don't appreciate me, and that's what I do now. Like, if you don't appreciate me and you don't get my videos, like, fuck off. I don't care. So, but I was trying to help this guy, and you know, no good deed goes unpunished. And so that's what I sent him over there. And I think he gave Fernie like $350 for like $700 in credit. And so I ended up building him a pair of woofers. And that's what, you know, was the germ of all the huss and the fuss. Really, it's just his high expectations. So, but I will post that video probably, what is it? Probably tomorrow. I got to edit it and put that you know, like a warning. This is me acting, so something like that. But wow, shit, another 20-minute video about semi-related speaker shit. So, but I love you guys. I will talk to you later.